away and extended its arms towards the sky, and thousands of lightning bolts crashed down onto the wretched city, destroying everything, even the shack of Keteron and Selma itself. Were smitten by poverty. The smell of smoke and embers. Smoke and embers for the infidels. It doesn't sound too peaceful to me.
Let it go, Friar. They've already passed judgment.
You will not stop us! Never! You will not stop us! Never! This is the place. Sharim.
Yes, take cover.
Impressive.
Entropy.
Lead the way, prophetess. You know what we are looking for.
Hey, you alright? You look pale for some reason. It was the echo, wasn't it? Stronger?
That might be because we're getting closer to where the last cleansing happened. If we just follow the visions, they might lead us directly to the temple, and thus to their version of the beacon.
Damn it. Lost ones. But what is it with their eyes?
Who'd you learn that from, your grandmother? waste of time.
The city of 1,000 floods. By the wise hermit. It's so beautiful.
And dangerous. Come, we need to get down there.
He has betrayed us! Jakal opened the gates and now they're killing everyone!
The temple! Retreat to the
You
temple!
had a choice, and you've chosen ignorance. Now pay the price.
What did you see? What? Yes.
In other words, all that we have done so far is almost identical to how things went for the Pyreans. We are still part of the pattern.
But does that mean everything we've achieved hasn't made any difference at all? That we found the Black Stones, the ancient starlings?
All that the Prophet has seen is that someone betrayed the Pyreans too, and that this jackal was deluded as this fool Koarek. We knew that already. We are the first to be so close to lighting the beacon. I can feel it.
What is this? Some kind of messed up puppet theater? How can these corpses still be here after all this time? They should have decayed long ago.
Good question. It looks like magic to me. Look at how gray their skin is. Like ashes.
I see. The cleansing did this to them, right? This must have been their final moments before the High Ones devoured them.
I fear you're right. They must have tried to get into the temple, into safety. In vain. This is tragic.
Yes, very tragic. How are you done?
Of course.
Impressive.
I suppose we have company.
You are impressive, you know that? Everything around you is falling apart, yet you refuse to give up. Tell us, Seraphia, what makes you keep going?
Are you trying to manipulate me? If so, save your breath and fight instead.
Oh my, so grim. How nice it would be if everything could just be killed, wouldn't it? Even the past. Tell us, do your companions know the truth about you? All of it?
Let's go. This is pointless.
Pointless. You wound us. All we want is to help them understand. Just look at them. How clueless they are.
Are you deaf? Shut up. Your games don't work on me.
We'll take that as a no.
But there has to be a way.
Not here in Inodan, Tio. We could hide the pregnancy, but a living child? Oh, a lightborn and immortal. It's blasphemy. As ridiculous as that may sound coming from my mouth. You could flee with him, you know. Take him somewhere where no one will find you.
What? Irlanda, that... No. They would recognize us for who we are.
Not if we took precautions. But even if they did, no one would dare oppose a Lightborn. No one. Teal, please, don't let him grow up without a father. He will be special. I can feel it. And he will need you.
What is this? But... No, I can't. The Council, Irlanda. You know what they said about me. They want to do it.
You mean the exaltation? I can't believe you just said that. This is about a child, Teal. Our child.
Yes, our child. Why don't you tell me another 1,000 times? I have what... Stop this! Damn it. And you should know that better than anyone else. You know how hard I've worked to get here, Amanda. And now you want me to give it all up? For this thing?
Teal, how? I just don't know what to say. Being a seraph, it's a title by the name of the sun. A title. How can that possibly be more important to you than... Oh, I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
Of course you can't. You've never known what it means to have to fight for something. We will give him away to one of your servants. It is better that way, for him and for us.
What would have happened if you had been there for your son, I wonder? Would he have ever started to blame the gods for this deep hatred lurking inside him? You made your son into what he became, and all because a promotion was more important to you than your own flesh and blood. And that is why you will fail here, don't you see? Because failing is what you do. As a soldier, as a protector of the gods, and as a father. You are a butcher, a loser, not the glorious savior you want people to remember you as. Admit it already.
By the wise hermit, that's a lot of them. If you have a plan around here, now would be a good time to fill us in.
We will see that. John, you and the child.
wise hermit, that's a lot of them. If you have a plan around here, now would be a good time to fill us in.
You, prophetess. So, what are you made of?
They're blocking the way.
The path is clear. Advance.
This is getting ugly. They're blocking the way.
The path is clear. Advance. The path is clear. Advance.
It's locked. What do we...
We will break it open. Do you see the ballista up there? Dalvarig, you... Wait. Do you feel that?
Yes. Wise hermit, I have a bad feeling about this.
Boy, by the name of the sun.
Wait, she's moving.
Yes. Yes, that is good. Stay with us. You were hit by a piece of debris, but we are safe, at least for the moment. His attack brought down the entire facade, but it also cut him off from us. He will not be able to get inside here. The building came down on top of him. There was nothing we could do. But you survived. That is what matters for now. Yes, and we will. But to do that, we need to find another way out of this place. So, no matter what else we do, we first have to go deeper into the temple. We finish this. That arrogant display of the High Ones was a bluff. They are afraid of us, and this puppet show out there was their last trump card. But they have failed. We're here, and we are close. All that matters now is that we summon the High One and take the Numinos from him. Then it is over. Thank the gods your injuries are only superficial. Just try to keep up. You will not stop us! Never! More lackeys! What a waste of time. the last cleansing happened, that not only the prophetess sees it, but we do as well. Pathetic.
No doubt. The beacon is all that matters. Understood? They must not harm it.
It is. The beacon. By the gods, how similar they are. Sharim, do you have the word of the dead with you?
Yes.
Good. Then place it in front of the beacon. And prepare yourself. Prophetess, it is now up to you. Somehow you must recall the moment when the last cleansing happened. If Shayla's theory is right, this is the only way to get our hands on something close to a physical form of a High One. No, but maybe you can somehow lure it. According to all that you have told me so far, the Echo seems to react to things or situations connected to the cycle. Take a look around and see if you can find something. All right.
They are similar to magic, or the power responsible for the tides. They are pure energy. The beacon was created to banish the High Ones from existence, but to do that, we need something from them. It was almost as if the beacon longed for the stones. They are the key. I feel it.
The core of this sickness is in people's heads. It is a way of thinking. But you will never understand that, High Priest, will you?
He has betrayed us! Jakal opened the gates and now they're killing everyone!
son. Is that...
A high one. We have made it. How are you feeling, prophetess? Luring the echo like that, it must have strained you. It does, indeed. We are in the consciousness of a past civilization. Do you see that up there? Yaela was right after all. This is our Numinars, the essence of a High One.
I wish you could see this.
Unbelievable. I have done it. In spite of everything. We are in his thoughts. What could you do against that? Time does not exist here. At least not as we know it. We will see about that. Maybe that question will answer itself. Sharon, do it. Carry the container to the essence.
As you command, Arantheal.
Unbelievable. I have done it. In spite of everything. We are in his... We will see about that. Maybe that question will answer itself. Sharon, do it. Carry the container to the essence.
As you command, Arantheal.
What is it? What are you waiting for?
Tell me, Arantheal. Back in the ruins, when the High One showed you that memory, it was the first time I saw you express real agitation. Not anger, but agitation. What you did to your son, do you regret it, I wonder? That you abandoned him in exchange for prestige and power?
What?
I don't think you do. What got to you was being reminded of your own failure. Regret. You don't know that feeling. You never have. Not even after Kira.
Sharon, what are you?
I hired the mercenaries with Khalid. I helped him kill Lashara. And I let the Naramis into the city. And still, you don't have the slightest idea who I am, do you?
Why, you were there. The night of 1,000 fires.
Yes. I survived your massacre. One of only a few.
Then you did not follow my son because you shared his ideals. You did it to get to me. What for, Yuzna? Justice?
Justice. I am done with this world, Arantheal. I have been for a long time now. The only reason why I'm still here is a promise I made to someone. The promise that one day, I will be the one who takes everything from you.
Yuzna, this is madness. Whatever you are planning to do, it will affect the whole world, not just me. If you want my death, why not just wait, damn it? Once we have lit the beacon, Korek will kill me. That way, all those innocent lives will be...
Please just shut up! You take me for such a fool? As if there's anything in this world you would want more than to die a martyr! Teodor Aranthio, conqueror of the High One, savior of mankind. You like the sound of that, don't you? You like it so much. You know, at first, I was so frustrated with all the setbacks. When the Prophetess saved Lashari's research in Alt-Rashengrad, and when Koarek's first attack on the city didn't succeed. But then I realized that all of this would be so much more gratifying than anything else I could do to you. Your final attempt, and so close to your target, only to fail by my hand.
You asked me once what my daughter's name was. Do you remember?
Yes, I beg you, please.
Lena. Her name was Lena.
No. That's impossible. You fool. Miserable, selfish fool! You killed us all!
Impressive, Aranthio. You really were close. A shame that you were too preoccupied with yourself to see it coming.
Beast! You damn beast! He was possessed! Possessed from the start!
Oh no, Aranthio. I'm afraid that is only half true. We reap, but you sowed. Of course we possessed him, but you did all the heavy lifting back in Kira, when you gave the order to massacre everyone dear to him, including his wife and his poor daughter. And so, it is a happy ending after all, isn't it? Without the Numinos, you have nothing to use the beacon's power on. And the only thing it is good for now is the destruction of your own beloved city. It will be a feast, and there will be nothing left of you once we've devoured you. Nothing but cold, gray flesh. It is just as we said. You have failed as you always have done. What is it, Aranthio? Lost your tongue?
No. No. I have not. Not at all. You have just presented me with a solution.
Are you deaf? There is no solution. The cleansing will happen, and you will all die.
Yes. Yes, we will. Your Messiah, the citizens of the city, the armies, we will all burn like the sun. And then, it will be over.
You're fantasizing, Aranthio. Without...
Not this time. Here we must go our separate ways. Believe me, I wish it were otherwise. But in your condition, you would just be a burden. And I cannot afford any risks. I'm sorry. The High Ones are right. We cannot use the beacon to banish them anymore. But do you remember what the Archmagister said? Without the Numinos, the beacon's energy would burst out without direction. Cause a massive explosion. yes. And that is the only thing we can do for mankind now. Koarek was and is essential to the High One's plan. Whatever shape the actual cleansing takes, he wants to make sure it will happen. And we, Prophetess, we may have failed in breaking the cycle for ourselves, but not for the others. The other people of this world, Arazial, Kira, Kile, they're affected by the cycle as much as Enderal. And I know that there must be people like us. People who have had the same dreams and feel what is about to happen. And if we kill Koarek and his armies, we buy these people time. Time to gather knowledge. Time to build a new beacon. And time to light it themselves. Those whom the Nerimes have not yet massacred anyway, you mean? They will die, as you and I will. But they will do so for mankind's salvation. And this is something worth dying for. It is the only way, don't you see? Either we die here, rotting with the Pyreans, or we choose to give our death meaning by at least stopping this fanatic Koarek and his armies. The High Ones are a lot weaker than they pretend to be. I feel it. We were so close to destroying them. And I have faith in the others out there who will fight them. They will succeed where this scum Sharim made us fail. So, a shepherd cannot decide the fate of his sheep. What is this really about, Prophetess? Your life? Now is not the time for arrogance and selfishness. All of this is about more than just us. That you fail to see this disappoints me, Prophetess. I thought better of you than that. But it does not matter anymore. I've made my choice. I'm sorry.
It all begins with the dreams. Breathe.
Enter the mind of a High One? I hope you're joking. This was their last stand. They are afraid of us. I feel it. You've killed us! You've killed us all! You have just shown me the solution.
No. This is impossible. Why are you here? Be gone, Phantom. Be gone and leave me to my slumber. Then this isn't a dream. You really are here. But why? The Prophet dies when the Emperor leaves him. This is the course of the game. It has always been so. Explain yourself. How did you find this place? And why do you still exist? Her? But why? She does not have a mind. She does not have feelings. So why should she do this? But still you speak the truth. I can feel it. Then could it really be that the unlikeliest of all eventualities has become reality and brought you here? Coincidence or caprice, I do not know. The veiled woman cannot be understood. I am sorry. It's been too long since I've spoken to anyone. I have had many names. The Akarians called me the God of Death, the Moonskin people, the Warden of Dreams, the Pyreans, the Demon of the Deep. For your people I am, or was, the Black Guardian. Pompous names, I know. However, I am none of these, neither god nor demon. I am only an eye, condemned to observe again and again. As you measure time, older than your most daring chronicles go back, by far. I have seen them all, since our people fell. Every civilization, every cleansing, every turn of the cycle. What? No. The Starlings came long after me. I was only a fool who wanted to save his own skin at any cost. I knew the cleansing would come. I had known it long before the Red Madness and the war started. But I also knew that fighting it as my people did, and as most do, was pointless. So I looked for another way to prevail. And I found it. What you see here is the result. The Goliath, as I like to call it back then. What is it? My self-dug grave. What it was meant to be was a body of steel, an immortal machine with which I planned to merge my consciousness. Only organic life could be reaped by the High Ones, and I thought that by becoming a machine, I could fool them. By the name of the sun, how brilliant I thought myself. I wanted to become a god, laughing in the face of time. But let me spare you my self-pity. What happened, happened. No. Joining the Goliath meant immortality. All I had to do was sleep and awaken once more when the cycle started again, and new life came forth. Except that this new life would not have been defenseless. I would have been a true god to them, One capable of protecting them from the High Ones. No imaginary figure like the Creator. No false gods like the Lightborn were, to speak in your language. As the only one of my people, yes. But it happened faster than it should have. And when the cleansing occurred, the Goliath was not yet finished. And as the Emperor unleashed the light, I had no choice but to complete the joining too early. A fatal error, as it turned out. I did survive, yes. But I am trapped inside this unfinished machine. And ever since then, all I can do is watch. Again and again. Yes, but a part of the Goliath is the eye. It allows me to see what happens on the surface everywhere. Not as literal as you imagine, of course. I see schemes, feel emotions, similar to your gift, to the Echo, but they are enough to understand. Yes, it was not how I planned it. The Goliath in its final form was meant to be divine, a synthesis of man and steel. But I overestimated myself, and I acted too quickly, driven by fear. No, you do not understand. You are stumbling through the fog, even now that it is almost over. By themselves, the High Ones are not the problem. If we would just see them as they really are, they would become powerless. Yes, it is hard to put into words. I myself do not know everything about the High Ones. Only that they are part of something we call the cycle. A civilization arises and blossoms, and then, always at the same stage of their development, the High Ones appear, and with them, the Red Madness. People start losing their minds, wars erupt, and chaos rules. Until 2 or 3 years later, the cleansing happens. The moment when the High Ones devour the collective consciousness, the gathered minds of this civilization, to give birth to a new one of their own. Despite all of this, nobody knows what drives them. Perhaps they act out of malice, out of an urge to survive, or perhaps they do not even have a will of their own, but are like a force of nature. But I do know one thing, as powerful as they might be, it is mankind who gives them that power. We make them into what they are, because what nobody understands is simply this. The High Ones feed on what humanity has the most of, their ego, greed, pride, fear, and their everlasting search for an enemy who was responsible for all their misery. It is those traits the High Ones make use of. These characteristics are what make us human. And by themselves, they are harmless. Only when we bury them, when we deny them, then they play into the High Ones' hands. So why is this, you ask? It is simple. The High Ones alone cannot make the cleansing happen. Only a human can. With the beacon, My knowledge about it is as limited as my knowledge about the cycle. It has existed since the beginning of time, and despite what you might now believe, the ancient writings about it are true. Lit by the ones who carry the Numenos, it can banish the High Ones once and for all. But it can also destroy us. Because what happens when it is lit without a core is far more than an explosion. It is the cleansing, the triumph of the High Ones. And even as we speak, a human, Tealor Orinthiol, has done it again. A bright light will appear from the heart of the machine and open a hole in the sky. And within hours, it will spread throughout the world, and they will all feel it. A fire that burns them from within. A white light which will break through their flesh. Do you understand now? The High Ones have no power. All they do is to feed on our weaknesses, manipulate us into bringing about our own destruction. It is we who forge the sword that kills us, we who lead them to their victory, even though the key to salvation has always been in our hands. But instead of realizing our folly, we make the same mistake. We repeat the same fate over and over, and only because we refuse to see the truth. Yes, the High Ones are our enemy, but who wants to hear that it is our ego, that dark voice within us, that empowers them? It is so ironic. The moment we would realize all this would be the moment it all came to an end. But we do not. They reap, we sow. Dreams, thoughts, visions, they are everywhere, but the principle is always the same. They throw a tainted seed into a fertile ground. The rest happens by itself. Like 1,000 others before him, the High Ones knew exactly what they had to do to get him to commit this last act of desperation. They played him with his weaknesses and fears, like a figure on a chessboard. And the saddest part is that until the very end, he will believe that he has done something good. That was his greatest fear, yes, to be remembered as a failure, a broken man. That was the string the High Ones manipulated him from the moment he died, after attempting to flee from his prison on Nerim. The real Orinthiol, he is dead, prophetess. He is a fleshless one of the mightiest tools of the High Ones. Just as you are. I wish it were. The methods of how the High Ones influence us are plentiful, and the red madness and their ability to enter our dreams are not their only means. Their mightiest tool is the creation of projections, fleshless ones, or emissaries, as they are also called. If a person dies, and if this person has one last unfulfilled wish, a compulsion, then the High Ones have the power to create a projection of him. an immaterial image of the deceased, which thinks itself real and is perceived as such. What no one notices, not even the projection itself, are two things. Firstly, it is driven by this last unfulfilled desire. Secondly, it becomes an idealized version of its former self, almost tailor-made to free itself from the last compulsion, that ultimate scourge. The daughters of fishermen become warriors. Broken generals become charismatic and driven leaders who seem almost too determined to be real. You are one of these projections, as are all of the emissaries. You are a fleshless one, a spirit searching for liberation from something. I do not know your past before you came to this land, because before you became the prophetess, you were insignificant. But what happened to you and your friend on that ship? You never survived it. You drowned in the Red Sea, and in that very moment, the High Ones entered your mind and made you into what you are today. And other than myself, the High Ones knew your compulsion, knew the desire that drove you. Whatever it was, it made you predictable, and it allowed them to play you, just as they played Arinthiel and Korak. Do you see it now? Every dream the High Ones sent you, every time they appeared to you, they all had but a single purpose: to feed your self-image, to push you in a certain direction. They wanted you to play the game for their purposes, and they succeeded. You read the echo of the future, as other prophets did before you. You helped Arinthiel reconstruct the beacon, and led him to the Numinos. When he saw that it would be taken away from him at the very last instant, his fear of failure led him into doing what he did.